All right. Well, welcome, Kehaulani. I'm so glad that you were willing to do this little interview with me and that we get to talk about your journey and the things that you've discovered very specifically with the Innate Drivers sessions. So tell me where you were. I mean, because we had talked for quite a while about doing Innate Driver sessions together before we actually met to do them. So where were you before that? And yeah, what made you kind of realize you wanted to end up doing it, the sessions?
Well, I always believe in the timing of the universe. And yes, we had talked about it before. We were both going through, advanced body mapping together. And so I had kind of felt like I had some tools under my belt to handle life's challenges. But when I came to you with, saying, oh, good, I'm glad we have this set up because here's what I'm going through. And it was a divorce situation and having to recognize it and really start understanding boundaries and things like that. And here I thought I'd had all these tools to be able to do that. So again, timing of the universe, that's kind of where I was. It was like, oh my gosh, I don't know what this program is about, but I hope I've got some answers here. And then of course I had known you as a mentor too. Yeah. So
Mhm. Yeah, and that's what I love about you and working with you was, yeah, like we've known each other for a few years, we've had all these interactions, but the timing of this was just like, boom, powerful. Like you said, you were having very intense situations at home. And so, did you have any concerns like coming to work with me and having that very first session together, especially knowing that you were dealing with some really difficult things at the time?
I didn't have any concerns because um, it was more curiosity because I think you've even used the word eclectic, and so you have all these different interests. But what I've come to realize about you is that it's not just about technique. Whatever you're interested in focusing in, you embody it. And experiencing that with you, I trusted, even though I didn't know what Innate Drivers was about, I trusted you to present not just technique and information, but actually embodiment of principle, whatever that was going to be. So no, did I have concern? No, I did have a lot of curiosity
Hmm.
though. And
Mm, and
hope.
and hope. I love that. Oh, I love that. Well, and that's what I've loved like working with you, the last few years is just seeing that you just like jump on board. You're just like you're ready, you're all in and you take it and embody it yourself. And so that's the really beautiful part that I see with you. Um, I remember when I had done a post about like one morning I'd woken up and had like three things in a row that like walked me through my innate drivers to get me in line and to fulfill my purpose in life. And I don't even remember your response on my Facebook post, but you were just like, wow, I really want that. And I was like, ooh, she's ready. Like, this is so exciting. um, so how do you feel now that we've done our two sessions? So, and I'll just kind of explain the two sessions for anybody watching this. So the first session is where we meet and we talk and discover the three main areas of your life that basically drive every aspect of your decisions, and they are deep within your soul, within your bones. And what it does is it puts you in alignment so that you can just naturally live your innate gift to the world. And then we meet at least 2 weeks later and we talk about basically your core wound. And that can feel heavy, but we don't make it heavy because we give you that rope out to come back to living that gift and to knowing what your new choice is. So, Kehaulani, so we did those two sessions. So, what have been some of the results, or what are your feelings now that we've had those sessions together?
So it was easy, and I'll be very specific. It was easy in my marriage to be pulled off of um, my center and then take on, oh yeah, it must be my fault. Oh yeah, okay, I can see that. I was very good at being, I didn't even, I didn't even recognize it until, I had my daughters pointing out to me, I was being gaslighted, and I had to look up that term. What does that mean?
Yeah.
You know, I would take that on, and the cool thing about that is that with it, I turned inward going, wow, this must be my problem. What what can I do? What do I need to fix in order for my marriage to be healed? What do I need to fix? And so it did drive me into personal development. And I've appreciated that. But the neat thing about innate drivers, when I found out what it was all of a sudden, I was able to say, whoa, wait a minute. Authenticity is important to me. That's the first step. And if I feel like you're not being authentic, I'm not being paranoid. It's who I am and what I require in a connection that I value and that I want. I require authenticity. Um, and it was like, and you may not diminish me for that, because that requirement was like shamed. Oh, either, oh, nothing ever satisfies you, or why don't you believe me? That's your problem if you don't believe me. And that was my second driver, truth. No, actually, I feel truth. I know what truth feels like now. And that's important to me. That's important to me. And then it was like all the behaviors that went with authenticity and went with truth, which I think I'd expressed to you, well, gosh, these are not fun loving, these are not, these kind of feel very solid, not airy or fluffy. And I want airy or fluffy, which you pointed out, well, that's why you're attracted to other people. And it is one of the reasons I was attracted to my husband, because he is fun,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah.
not terribly grounded. So
Yeah.
owning it as, oh, this is who I am, instead of allowing other people to shame or blame me, has been huge. And there are words within those drivers that are light, that are loving, that are compassionate, that are important to me as well, that I might not necessarily have lumped with authenticity. And then it actually, my bottom one, sovereignty. Oh man, that explains my independence and my need to be independent and self-sufficient, which again, generationally and culturally, don't fit the mold. And so it was like, oh yeah, I don't fit the mold, but that's okay, because that's who I am.
Yeah.
Where my life was just, I had kind of broken free in other areas, but with my marriage relationship, there were so many patterns, dysfunctional patterns that were cultural, and that I had just, fought against, and then been shamed, blamed, felt guilty for. So come back, do more work.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. And then you get shame, blame. And now it's just like, whoa, you may not. This is who I am, and I accept who I am.
Yes. Oh, see, and I love that so much, because I feel like that's the huge power with innate drivers, is it is like giving complete permission to accept ourselves. And yeah, because I
Yeah.
mean, you said, you've been shamed for it, you've been blamed for it. And I see that a lot, like, especially with our like number one innate driver, a lot of us have been shamed for it. And so we're like, oh no, I can't claim that, I can't do that. And really that's the thing that's like, that puts you in your power. I mean, that's been the funnest thing watching you, as you have like really claimed these. I mean, boom, power. And I love that you were like, oh, they're not like light and airy and fun, but we actually did find, so like you said, we did find the aspects of it that you do have those parts to you also. Yeah.
pleasure is one of the precursors, movement, pleasure, and support. And so now stepping into my day and what I want to create, I absolutely know, before I can align, I have to have movement, support, and pleasure.
Yeah.
Pleasurable, not fun, because that's kind of the word that we came up with first. And fun was a little too ungrounded for me, but pleasure absolutely has to be there, or then it becomes that should, have to, need to.
Yeah. And I think that's such a key point, is that these words, they are so specific for us. So it's like two people can have, authenticity or, pleasure, and they're very specific to that person of what that means for them. And as we do the work and as we talk and, do these sessions, that's like you said, we originally had put fun as one of your common denominators, but you came back that second session, you're like, nope, it's not fun, it's pleasure. And it was like, yes, you're right. That feels so much more grounded and solid with where you're at. And I loved that.
Yes. This program really brings beautiful awareness. So, and acceptance. That was the other thing,
Yeah.
acceptance. You can be aware. I was aware of a lot of things.
Mhm.
Didn't know really how to accept it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love it because that was your new choice that pulls you out of your wound and brings you to that innate gift, which, do you mind sharing what your innate gift is?
A transformation, which
Yeah.
me, that's what I want for myself, and that's what I want to be able to help other people do. It's not just teach you techniques, or give you tips, or even just create awareness. It's actually, oh no, I'd like you to expand out of it. That's before I even knew it. That's what I mean, before doing this, it was like, that's what I was trying to get people to see through working with my horses in the round pen, because it gives you a visceral experience. This is the block.
Yeah.
You step into removing it. You don't have to keep doing the same thing, because here's something that's a connection in a relationship, but it's not in your everyday scope of things. Here's what the horses are reflecting for you, and then they transform into creating your sacred space. So yeah, it just totally, it was like, oh my gosh, this is the missing piece,
Yes. Yes. And it's been so beautiful to watch that. And I've done a session with you and your horses, and for me, it was very transformative. Like I think back to that session and I want to come and do more, because it's like those things, there were missing pieces that the horses and you guiding the horses and the whole experience were able to point out to me, that it was like, oh, this is going to transform some relationships for me. Like that key of transformation, and then knowing how you work with your horses and everything, I was like, yes, that just puts it all together with what you do.
Oh, I'm glad, because that's evolved too. So
I know, to come do another session. So what would you say to someone that's kind of on the fence about doing an innate driver session with me, or other sessions too, but specifically innate drivers?
the cool thing about innate drivers, there's sometimes a fear of doing personal development, because people, oh, I got to take the deep dive. I got to become self-aware. And this, again, it's like, it was the missing piece, because I'm more than willing to do the work,
Mm-hmm.
face fears, do the shadow work. I was more than willing to do that because I want to change. But there's a lot of anxiety and angst with that. And I don't think you used wound session with me for the second, because I was all in. After the first session was, oh yeah, second session, let's get it done. But even that terminology would be scary for some people, because wounds are real.
Mm-hmm.
They're very real. And so in relation to my marriage, because of the innate drivers session, I am I am able to say, oh, right now, because of who I am, I do need to be the strong one right now. Where the generational cultural pattern is, no, I can't be the strong one. It's my husband that needs to be the strong one. In masculine energy, you're the strong one. I'm the submissive one. I'm the one that's willing to follow the leadership. And now it's like, oh, well, in order for this marriage to work and continue forward, I do need to be the strong one. So would I love my husband to come and do this with you? Absolutely, because I don't want to say it's not that it's painless. It's just that the awareness is so fulfilling and uplifting and enlightening. It's all the light words with personal development that Innate Drivers allows you to feel.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because I don't know how to describe it, except that it's like, oh my gosh, it's just so. And it's about alignment. Personal development, alignment is a result of all your hard work. You kind of, but it's like collecting all these puzzle pieces and trying to figure out which puzzle piece matches where with personal development. Innate Drivers is just like right there to get right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I tell people is, oh my gosh. And you can't progress without alignment. Alignment is what opens you up to gifts and receiving and progression. So
Yeah. Oh, I love that. And I love that you brought up that you're like, I'd love my husband to do this. And, and we talked about that. We're like, well, we'll just put it out there that when he's ready, it will happen. But that's the beauty. Like when one person in a relationship knows their innate drivers and their alignment and their gift, and then to have the other spouse be able to find theirs, you then are this double powerhouse coming forward together, being like, no, we know exactly what drives us. We know what our gifts are, and we know kind of where the breakdown happens when things aren't going well in a relationship. And so yeah, I love that. And I just love our experience that we had, because it was just really beautiful and healing. And yeah, just to see you really step into that power that you mentioned of being able to just be that strong one, because you are allowed to be strong.
if I can just say, I appreciate working with you, because you said, like I said, oh yeah, you're eclectic, you're in a lot of different things, but because you embody all of those things, it's like more like in trying to figure out what my innate drivers were. You were pulling in from, you had done an astrology workup for me, and you're pulling in this and pulling in this, and it helped me connect. Oh my God, this is why, childhood experiences that I had been shamed for or didn't even understand responses, like, oh, that makes sense. That's what you're able to bring, is that, yes, all of these things that you've embodied, you bring more than just the innate driver program. That's why I would have people work with you, is that there's more than just the program. That's what makes you so.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, and it was beautiful. And it was fun to, you messaged me after and we're like, okay, wait, I just had another connection. Does this fit? Does this fit? And I was like, yep, you're right on. Like, and it's fun when you start to pull all these other aspects of personal development and astrology together. Oh, beautiful. Well, thank you so much for your time, for being willing to share and being so open and vulnerable. And if you'll just share really quickly a little bit about your horses and what you do and how people can get in touch with you, where your gift is about transformation. I'm just going to put a shout out for you. Like, people that are looking for transformation come to you. So tell us about what you do.
So my foundation is Equine Connections, Sacred Spaces. And it came with me wanting more of a relationship with my horse and trying to understand, why do you do these things? And then it just has evolved from that. I've had over 40 years of experience working with horses and training different disciplines. And I was in competition for a while, but I realized that in order for me to be successful in competition, my horses were not happy. And I'm not saying that they cannot be happy in competition. I'm not saying that, but there's just a foundation level that I was not addressing, and that is about real connection. And then that relates what the horses were able to reflect for me and have reflected for the people that work with them in my round pen is connection, and it's connection with yourself first. Where are the blocks? And then how you're relating, how you relate to other people, resources, your time, energy, wherever your focus and your intention is, the horses reflect back what your intention is. That's been the marvel for me, and that's why they kind of do the work. So that's why I like to get in the round. And Sacred Spaces has evolved for that, is that in those connections, whatever you're trying to connect with, you actually create the space to receive what you want. And it's sanctified. Your connection and your alignment is what sanctifies that space and makes it's sacred, but it's putting all those pieces together. And so that's what I like to do, and that's how I create or help others create their transformation. That, I think, is a better word, is how I facilitate helping other people create the transformation that they're looking for, that they want. So to get a hold of me, I am in the process of developing my website. That resource seems to have come down the pipeline for me. But I'm not sure of the timing of it. I've been trying to release the timing of things, but that popped up, that just popped out of the blue, somebody saying, oh, well, I do this on the side, and I, love to work with you. And I was like, okay. So that is coming. So the easiest way to answer your question, the easiest way to get a hold of me is you can message me. Kehaulani is my, I think that's how I am on Facebook. See again, the logistics of it, I'm not very good at. I do have a Facebook page, but it was just set up. That's equineconnections.sacred spaces. You can message me through there.
Perfect.
Probably the easiest way to get a hold of me is to message me through Facebook now, as I'm getting all these other logistics in place. I'd never even thought about doing it through social media. That's been kind of fun. And I appreciate you reaching out. So thank you.
Yeah, you're so welcome. So Kehaulani Vernon. And I will put the link in the bio for this video so people can just have a direct Facebook link to message you. And just thank you again. I really appreciate your time, and it's been so fun to see your progress and your transformation as you embody the innate drivers.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much.